Hey everybody, welcome back. Greg Reinhardt from the GRB Academy, doing episode 2 on something that I think is very important, which is what should I be considering when I decide to make a commitment, and what factors should you weigh, because it's a big decision, and I think a lot of people always wonder, how will I know that it's right? Before we begin, if you don't mind, same thing as last time, if you don't mind subscribing to our GRB Rays YouTube channel. We will be putting out a ton of content, hitting videos, player videos. We're going to do talks like this, and not just through this 2020 pandemic, but something we've wanted to do for a long time, and this is kind of giving us the time to get a jump started. So if you don't mind subscribing, that would be great. So, episode 2, what should I consider when making my college decision? I'm giving you a list that is in no certain order, but just things that I think families and players should weigh. So, first one, I think you need to think about the coaches and the coaching staff that is there. One, what is their credibility? Oh, there's my dog. Are they respected? Credibility, what is their track record? At the Division I level, do they get a lot of players who are non-drafted in high school, and then do you see those players being drafted later? That's a track record of development. Do they win? Have they been winners at other places? And what do people say about them? And that's where the respectability comes in. If you have a summer coach, or a club coach, travel coach that has good feel for coaches, you can use their opinion in a lot of cases, to know, like, does this guy fit in around other coaches? Is he liked? What do the travel coaches and summer coaches say about him? That's one thing. Next thing I would say that's really important is the campus life and the city. Does the city and location fit you as a person? That's a big deal. Take away baseball. Is this a school that you would go to? Do the academics match? Does the city match? Believe it or not, baseball ends for everyone one day. It could happen your first year, your second year, and this is a place that you would go to school anyways. Do you like it there? Because if you're unhappy there from that aspect, the baseball will have challenging times for sure, and you for sure won't make it. Like you if you're miserable in your personal life and your campus life, it's not going to lead to success on the field. You really need all the pieces to fit together. That's a big one, I think, for people is picking a school based on who they are and who they know they are. The competition, go where you can play. It's important. Don't commit to be the fourth catcher. Go somewhere you can play. If you're a really good high school player and you're going to a college, I'm sure you don't want to go and sit there. Obviously, people need to bide their time here and there and earn their playing time and earn their keep. But don't go somewhere that's so unrealistic for you to get playing time. Go somewhere where you have a chance to be their person, to be their guy, and to be a major contributor. Because that goes into the happiness factor. If you're sitting on the bench for 3 years, you are unhappy. But if you are playing, you will be happy. A couple items that I think are important. Talking to the current players. You're on your recruiting visit. You will get to know some of these players. You can look these players up on social media now. Ask questions. Current players probably tell you the truth. You'll probably hear a gripe. You'll probably hear something positive. If you get overwhelming results on one side or the other, that probably tells you the story of what you need to know about that place, about the coaches, about how they're treated, and everyone's experience. Talk to former players versus current. I mean, you could get current players that maybe don't give you the truth. I don't know why that would happen, but if you talk to former players, players either leave really happy or really unhappy. So the truth generally really comes out with former players. And you can rely on your travel coach to hook you up with some of those situations in most parts. Before you commit, go to a practice. Go see how they practice. Go see the intensity. Go see them, how the players practice, how the coaches practice. So you know what you're getting into. Go to a game. It's another big one. Go watch some games. Go see what it's like when the lights come on. Go see what that coach is like when he's not recruiting you. Go see what those players are like when they're not helping recruit you. Go see what it's like, when the pressure's on and they're in season. A big one, look at the incoming recruits. And then look at how many transfers do they have leaving after a year. That will give you insight on if people are happy as well. And if it's a place where people think they're getting better and want to stay. If you see a school that has mass departures every year, you're probably not going to be the guy to change it. You're probably going to be as frustrated and leave as well. So seeing some of those things will help you make decisions. When you're on campus, you're on your visit, do those things. Look at practice, games, players. Don't look at the locker room and the apparel. Don't look at the gear. Don't look at the jerseys. Those give you, they influence your decision for usually not the right reasons. And everyone in today's world has some level of being materialistic and wanting to, be in the limelight, and people think that great apparel makes you automatically put you in the limelight, or a great locker room. But it doesn't really tell the whole truth. Something I always tell our players in our program, and you will rarely make a mistake if you do this, is pick the place that loves you the most throughout the process. Meaning, if you have a coach that consistently is getting on the phone with you, consistently communicating with you, you have good rapport with him, you really like him, he probably loves you the most. You'll get the most chances to fail. You'll get the most chances to succeed, and you'll have a better going in relationship. Certainly, coaches will be different when you get there than when they're recruiting you. But don't pick a guy who you don't feel like you have any rapport with, and you don't feel like you can talk to, because it's not going to change when you get on campus. So we've always said that to our players. Pick the place that loves you the most. Pick the place where you feel the most comfortable. Deadlines. You're going to hear about this. Schools will possibly put deadlines on you. They shouldn't happen. They do happen, but you don't need to use that deadline as a timeline for your decision. If someone wants to tell you not to go there because of a deadline, that's fine. Everyone understands that while a coach is recruiting you, they're probably recruiting other players, and someone may say yes before you. But if you're not comfortable enough to commit before that deadline, it's probably because you're not comfortable enough to go there. Just know that the decision you make outside of baseball really sets up your life. It will set up probably what kind of job you get, what you study, who you will meet, your best friends, and possibly who you marry. So those are all like personal things that go into a place where you have to spend 3 or 4 years. Hopefully 3 if you're all getting drafted. But do not live and die by the deadline. If a school wants you enough, they will be understanding that you will want to see other schools. And that's my last thing. So if you go on a visit and you fall in love with a place and the offer is great, find a way to go on another visit and compare. Go on at least 1 or 2 more. The more knowledge you give yourself on what it feels like on campus and what other staffs are like will help you to know that you're making the right decision. So those are some simple things that I think are really important. We've had a lot of people make a lot of decisions, and they've always used some of these. Some of them make charts and, the pros and cons of each place. Whatever it is to help you make that decision and make sure you're happy there is important. But flying by the seat of your pants in this process is probably the worst thing you can do, because uniforms are cool, stadiums are cool. but making decisions based on, real reasons are the best way to go. So thanks everyone for listening. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to email me, greg@grbacademy.com. It's going to be a long month, and after that of trying to get information out to people, build a library of things for families and players, and maybe even other players from other programs or other programs to think about when they're going through this process. Have a good night.